Ask you about Michael Smart. So he did rescind the order that his staff couldn't give out documents, but he kept in place the order that his staff is not allowed to be quoted by the press, not allowed to speak on the record with the press.
Well, he is the department head for that department. He can set the rules for communication. I wasn't aware of that, but that certainly is within his responsibility.
Is that something that you support in other departments? Is that something that you think that should be a rule for like should the city employees in general be allowed to be quoted by the press and be allowed to speak to the press?
Well, not if they're speaking on behalf of a formal department policy if they don't know what it is. Certainly if they're speaking about something that only affects them as individuals but not the policy of the city, they should be able to talk to the press. But only certain people can talk on behalf of departments, and that's normally the department head, unless the department head has delegated that to someone else.
Right. And the other thing I want to ask you along those lines is that the People's Caucus, this new aldermanic group, they or put in a couple of pieces of legislation. One would prohibit this kind of what they're calling a gag order, preventing city employees from talking to the press. The other would eliminate the position of city clerk as an elected position.
Okay.
What do you think about those two pieces of legislation?
Well, I would have to look at them. This is the first that I've heard about either of them and really try to understand where they're coming from. I'd be really interested in hearing what the public thinks about those two things. So there's a process. Let it go through the process.
Got it. Jackie James did was that she put up a sign on the annex in City Hall that said keycard access only. Previously, people had been able to, like reporters had been able to go in there and find people they needed to talk to.
Okay, so here's the thing. I was met, I think, when I first started, maybe the second, with the presidents of the unions in our city, and they rose with me the concerns that people can just wander through City Hall, and given the security issues that have occurred, they were concerned that we didn't have a good security plan. Now, I haven't spoken to Jackie James and was not aware of that, but I do know that a number of people are concerned that we don't really have a good access control. I don't think anybody wants to stop people from coming in. We just want to know who's coming in, and so I will speak to her about that. I actually had a staff meeting today, and we put together a committee that will be chaired by Chief Esserman and supported by Larry Smith, the engineer, and we're going to take a look at the work that has been done, and we're going to look at how we secure the areas. Before, we had enough staff to actually sit at the front desk. We don't have that anymore, and the concern is that not to keep the press out, but that people could just wander through. We've had a number of pocketbooks that have been stolen, and so we want to improve security for the workers, but we also understand that it's our responsibility to assure that people who have business with the city, including the press, have access.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So do you think that having keycard access, is that the final solution? Is that a good solution?
That is not the final solution, nor was that one that was discussed with my office, and ultimately we're going to have a committee look at it. We will be making some changes, but they'll be changes that we've all agreed to.